Just underway from Crampton Gap Shelter, where I stayed last night. Not a bad place. I tented. There were designated tent spots on the trail going down to the shelter. They were basically like 2x4s outlining a spot for the tent. I think there were like 4 or 5 of them. They were all full. So I was walking around looking for a place to tent and went down to the shelter. There wasn't much down there. So I came back and there was a young lady at one of them, and I said, hey, do you mind if I set the tent up over here? I mean, there's plenty of room, not in that designated area per se where she had her tent, but you know, around there. Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Fine, how are you?
Good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah? And she said, no, I'd like some privacy, so I wasn't going to argue with her. I've already had that experience in a stealth spot back at Moody Gap. But anyway, I said, hey, no worry, you know, no problem. And then another lady who was in another one of the spots by the name of Sasha, she said, hey, there's a spot right here. So I ended up setting my tent up just on the other side of where Sasha was, and we had a nice chat. But to that other girl's point, after more hikers came in, and it became evident that, you know, space was at a premium, she came over and she apologized to me. And I said, hey, no worries, you know, I want to respect your privacy and all that. But I did say words to the effect of, I'm guessing you're not a thru hiker. And she said, yeah, that's true. Sasha was a 44-year-old philosophy professor at a small college, and she's off for the summer. She did 500 miles of trail maybe last year or so, and she had to get off because of a job commitment. So now she's going as far as she can go till she needs to be back at school on 22 September. So it was nice. We had a nice chat and slept very well for first night back out in the woods. And I was pretty warm. I was in a sleeping bag liner for most of the night. Maybe about 3 o'clock I slipped into the bag. Yesterday I didn't get far out of Harpers Ferry, and I'm sure I was in Maryland. There wasn't a marker for that, but now I'm in state number 6. In Maryland's only 40 miles or so, so I should be out pretty quick and then into Pennsylvania. So that's it for a little update on whatever day today is. I think it might be day 100, but those 9 zeros didn't obviously help my mileage, but it's all good. And it's great to be back out here. Got a new pack, new poles. Got my La Sportiva trail runners back on. So life is good. I'm about 3 miles into my walk for today. And looking south, nice view here. So I can get up on this rock. I ain't going any farther though. This is the Rocky Run shelter. It's a new one. I think there's an old one down here as well. I just hopped off the trail. I need some water, so got to get it. Looks like a privy up there. There's campsites up top on the ridge. And here's the old shelter up here. Still looks like it's in pretty good use. But here's the water source, and this will give me plenty of water. This is more about the campaign of 1862 in Maryland. I just came up here, just crossed the road here. This is Reno Monument Road, I guess, and it says, near here in Wise's Field on the morning of 14 September 1862, Brigadier General Samuel Garland of Lynchburg, Virginia, fell mortally wounded while leading his men. He was Confederate, CSA, Confederate States This is historic Wise's Field. Land around you is a scene of heavy fighting during the Battle of South Mountain on 14 September 1862. And there's a monument up here. There's another one over here. This monument marks a spot where Major General Jesse Lee Reno, commanding 9th Army Corps U.S. Volunteers, killed in battle. All right. This is all early days leading up to Gettysburg. This talks about the battle for Fox's Gap. And this is the deaths of two generals. This is Garland, Samuel Garland and Jesse Reno. Fight for Fox's Gap on 14 September 1862 claimed the lives of two generals, one from each side. Confederate General Samuel Garland, Lynchburg, Virginia native, attended VMI at Lexington and later obtained his law degree. Married in 1856. Fell mortally wounded by a bullet through his chest while rallying his men about 3/4 miles south of here. Union General Jesse L. Reno, rode by here and into the field across from Wise's cabin to investigate what he believed was a delay in the push for Turner's Gap. Just then, General John Bell Hood's Texans arrived on the field and fired the final Confederate volley, mortally wounding Reno. Carrying the stretcher to his friend, General Samuel D. Sturgis's headquarters, Reno called him, "Hello, Sam, I'm dead." A few minutes later, he died. First Union Corps commander killed during the war. His monument is the second oldest one erected for the Maryland campaign. This is one we just saw up there. Looks like that's the side that we didn't look at. It's got Reno's name on it. Now, this is US 40A that the AT goes across. And this is Turner's Gap, I think. And there's a restaurant there that they ask all the hikers to take a shower down a Dogwood campground. And just across the way, we're in Washington County, and Washington Monument State Park is here. A little bit about the AT in Maryland here. A little map. There's a little marker for the Washington Monument. Says it used this as a signal station during the Antietam. Right, 12:56, 8 June. We're at the Washington Monument State Park, and we've got a couple of hikers here that are taking care of us with all this great trail magic. You want to say hello? Trail magic?
Hi, I'm Coffee Bean.
Coffee? All right.
And I'm Catfish.
Catfish, man in the grill. He's doing a great job. And he finished his hike in 2014.
Yeah,
Awesome.
the class in 2014.
2014. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this great layout. Really well done.
Thank you.
Just leaving, heading up to the Washington Monument, the original one. And Catfish and his wife had a great spread going there. And it was great to see trail magic, and he made all the hikers pretty happy. think we got a pretty good view out back. Going across I-70 on a footbridge. The AT. There's a bunch of locks on the bridge. It seems to be a thing. This is Annapolis Rocks here. What a view. Hear everybody talk about it. I just talked to Bucky the Ridge Runner. He just plucked a copperhead from underneath one of the rocks here and he's doing something with it. We're on Annapolis Rocks, gonna watch the sunset tonight. .2035 is sunset.